incredible speakers here and incredible points of perspective and expertise. And so I would like to introduce our next speaker, Special Agent from FBI, VickLombardo. He's going to, well, he has a lot, they have an incredible jurisdiction, I would have to say. And he's going to speak a little bit about what the FBI's role is in trying to capture the statistics as well as reporting efforts for the FBI. So please welcome VickLombardo.
My name's Vic. I'm here from the federal government. I'm here to help. All right, this is a very serious topic, and I don't mean to make light of it, but sometimes if you don't laugh, you'll cry. The federal government, in my personal opinion as an FBI agent for 16 years, does not have a phenomenal track record in this area. Let me start. Let's see. We had the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the 1990 Hate Crimes Act, the 1994 Violent Crime and Law Enforcement Act, and then the 1996 Church Arson Prevention Act. And then we have something that occurred that we're now having the 5-year anniversary of another law. During the early morning hours of June 7th, 1998, James Byrd Jr., an African-American male, was walking along a street and accepted the offer for a ride from 3 white males. They drove Mr. Byrd to a remote location, logging road, in Jasper, Texas, and physically assaulted him until he was rendered unconscious. Byrd was then tied to the back of a pickup truck with a chain and dragged down the road until he was dead. Byrd's dismembered body was discovered along a rural county road east of Jasper, Texas. 1998. It was only 5 years ago that a law was finally passed to do something about this. I grew up in Houston, Texas, about 35-40 minutes from Jasper. When I heard this as a kid or in high school, I was like, there's no way that this really happened. It just can't be that this could happen in this country. But it did. Now, a lot of you, the reason I'm harassing my own organization and our own federal government is because, whether you know it or not, the James Byrd Jr. investigation was not handled by the FBI, was not prosecuted by the federal government, because they had no jurisdiction. It happened on a logging road. There was no federal crime to cover what had happened. That's pretty sad. So, as a result of that, you have a new law. Now, does that mean the federal government comes in here and swoops in and takes over the investigation? Now, I know that's the way Hollywood plays it, but that's not the case. Our job is to back up and support what's already being done in the state of Illinois. The reality is, this state has some of the best hate crime laws in the country. But there are 2 or 3 states that have no hate crime laws at all. So some of the federal laws are there to support and to back up where the states aren't handling the job. That's not the case in Illinois. So where do we start? We don't start by investigating hate crimes. If the federal government or the FBI starts there, we've already lost the war. We have to start with education, and that starts now. By the time a hate incident occurs, it's too late to get busy. What that means is we, the FBI, and the U.S. Attorney's Office, we have to be out there educating not only law enforcement about what the federal statutes are, but also community groups so that we can get people to report the crimes. Real quick, the main hate crime violation at the federal level is Title 18 U.S. Code 245. That occurs when there's the threat or use of force and it's motivated by a bias against race, religion, national origin, ethnicity, sexual orientation, and it also involves the interference with federally protected activities such as public education, employment, a juror, a patron of public accommodation. The Shepherd's Bird Act, which is Title 18, 249, gave the federal government authority to prosecute violent hate crimes, including those directed at the gay and lesbian community. There has to be an effort to cause bodily injury with a firearm, or some other dangerous weapon, or a perceived threat. Why is that important? There are hate crimes and there are hate incidents. There are about 470 agents, FBI agents here in the Chicagoland area, and out of those, I have 14 people on my squad and only 3 dedicated to all the civil rights violations. That includes adult human trafficking, color of law violations, use of excessive force, as well as freedom of access to clinics, the FACE Act, and hate crimes. That is not a lot of bodies. So what we have to do is we have to be very strategic in how we address this issue. And we do that by identifying the difference between what hate crimes are and are not, and addressing the hate crimes while also educating to prevent further hate incidents. If someone goes and paints swastikas on grave sites in a Jewish cemetery, is that a hate crime that the federal government's going to work? Unfortunately not. That is a hate incident. There hasn't been a threat of bodily injury. If someone, in having served in the military, I very much believe in your right to freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean I have to like it every time it happens. So there are groups like the KKK that have every right to say whatever they want to say, and as long as they don't threaten violence, we cannot take action against them because they have freedom of speech. So we are looking for the incidents where there's an assault on someone because of a bias towards that person. I'll give you an example. Here on the south side of the South Suburban Police Department, about 2 months ago, we actually had a hate crime occur that wasn't initially reported. I had 2 agents out going to talk to someone about an adult human trafficking event. They talked to the owner or the person running the hotel or motel, and he says, "Yeah, I thought you were here about the other incident." And my agents go, "What other incident?" Well, there was a transgender male who was here last week, and he got beat up by a couple of African-American females. And I thought y'all were coming out about that. And he goes, "Well, what was done?" "Oh, the guy didn't want to, the individual didn't want to press charges, didn't want to file a police report. The police came by and said, I didn't want to file a report," and they left. There wasn't even no documentation that the assault even occurred. That's shameful, and that's where we come in. And our job is to go out and, just like at the county level, we reach out to Rockford and to both state lines, and our job is to go out and educate local police departments about what a hate crime is and isn't, and that you need to make sure you report it properly. And that involves, there's an Illinois State Police form that we're going out, and we're reaching out to individual police departments, chiefs associations, our National Academy graduates, and we're giving presentations on this is what constitutes a hate crime versus a hate incident. This is how you report it. And if we have word of something that looks like a hate crime or potentially is a significant hate incident, we're going to go out and talk to the people and interview them, because there's a good potential that that is going to grow into something worse. I have another example for you. We had a Sikh family on the north side, northwestern suburbs. They had 2 rounds go through their house, 2 bullets, holes in their wall. Initially, it was, it's gang related. Well, we didn't know for sure, so we went out and we interviewed a number of people. We ensured that this family had not been threatened before. They had not received hate mail. They had not received any type of religious slurs against them over the last 6, 8, 10 months. And we made sure that there was nothing that would tie a potential hate crime to that incident. And as it turned out, it was their house is on the border between two gang territories, and it turned out it was just a gang issue. But if we wait until we're sure that there's a problem to address it, it's too late. So that's what we're trying to do with the FBI. We're trying to work on education and to back up the Cook County, as well as many of the suburban law enforcement communities that do not receive and do not cross and see these types of incidents as often. So our biggest job is education, and the more we educate in advance, the better off we're going to be. I want to leave you with this quote. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can learn to be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Nelson Mandela. Thank you. Thank you for all you do out here. Take care.